Hello everybody, Ian Robson here. Welcome back to Baldeykino. Alright, so today we have rented the Homer, or one of the items from this is the Terra Variant. The Homer DLC is what I was going for. We rented one of these, and we rented the manure spreader because we need to spread some manure on our field that we harvested not too long ago. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So the reason why I picked up this as opposed to other vehicles is A, I haven't used this particular machine to do this before, and B is the fact that this actually spreads a bit wider than the in-game stuff. This spreads at 20 meters as opposed to only, what is the other one? 20 meters versus 15. So using this actually is better, strangely enough. So what we're going to do is there's a little bit of manure at the dairy farm we're going to pick up first, and then we're going to go to our storage after that. So we have our I guess it's the front loader with the conveyor belt over here at the dairy farm, and we'll use that initially, and then we'll bring it over to the other section here, and then we'll go from there. I haven't used this much, so that's why I wanted to use it as well. It's a pretty cool DLC, if I do say so myself. I like the Terra DOS as well. It's also a nice vehicle. This almost fits this farm. This is a kind of a, in real life, this is a really pricey piece of machinery, but I guess it's very you could use it for anything really. So alright, so we do have a little bit of manure here. It's going to pick up the rest of this. It's only like 20,000 liters or so. So one of the things that people have told me about this particular setup is that it doesn't work with courseplay, so something to keep in mind. Toby Moby likes that sound apparently. Well, it only holds 20,000 liters? 19,000, not even 20,000. Wow. Okay. It's not going to take much to empty 19,000 liters. You'd think it would take more than that, but apparently not. Apparently it only takes 19,700 liters. Oh well. Alright, so we are working on field 5. I'm going to go ahead and put some more manure down. And technically this will probably bring up our levels probably a bit higher than they need to be in reality, but we're going to do it anyways. So like slurry is like the best thing. Not the best thing. Like, how do I say this? Manure is the best thing in terms of getting the nutrients right. But slurry is nice because it also moisturizes the ground as well, and that was a problem we ran into before. So, alright, so here we are at the field. It's just this one right here, and we have 20 meters spread, so it shouldn't take quote unquote too long. Famous last words, right? These fields aren't too bad. If I were doing field 9, for example, I probably wouldn't spread manure on it. Or I wouldn't use this setup because then I'm forced to use this. Looks like we missed a little bit when we were harvesting potatoes. Oh well. Alright, let's get this guy set up here. And there we go. What's the best way to do this? Let me think about it. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to move this guy because I don't think there's much manure there left there. Yeah, 8,000 liters. Not much at all. So this is the famous setup. I've used this setup so many times in the past. Those people who are new to the channel have been like, "What on earth is that?" It's just a conveyor belt. It's one of my favorite mods. I kind of went away from it for a while, and then I'm back to it again because I realize how amazing it is. Whoops, I don't want to go here at all. Just because it makes front loading a lot faster. So like, for example, when I'm recording, like if I weren't recording, I may not use it. It just depends on whether I'm in a rush or not. When you're in a rush, you don't want to use a front loader because it just takes too much time. So we're going to take us to the storage pit, which is over by, I think it's like field 8. It's over by field 8. We filled it with 200,000 liters of manure, and that was from the BGA. And what we'll do is we will get this working the way we want it to. So we'll take this over to field 8, put it by the storage area, and then when we need to fill up the Terra Variant, we can just come over here, fill it up, make it a nice easy job, and go from there. As you can see, our sunflowers are doing well. They're in, I think they're in like stage 3 or something like that. So here we are. As you can see, I have my truck just sitting there for the time being. Let's make sure we have it. There we go. And we'll just turn this guy off, and then we have to tab to the right tractor now because it's not in a group. There we go. Okay, so let's just start from this side and go south, I guess. Seems like the easiest thing to do. Alright. So, let's do this and this. So this is 20 meters, as I mentioned before, which is awesome. I love that fact. Now, is it going to do what I want it to do? Oh yeah, there it goes. I wonder how long. No, I was going to say, I'm like, wonder how long manure lasts. But as you can see, it's spreading a new manure down. It's weird though, because the texture is still there, but you can see there's a new texture going down. So that's what it was throwing me off. Hey, we have 80% already. I haven't even done a pass. So it's like, on the one hand, manure is the best for your nutrients, but it's the most, I don't know, least efficient, I guess, in reality. So it's a bit of a shame. But yeah, our nutrients are pretty high, actually. I probably don't even need to do that. I probably could have spread like slurry, actually, and got away with that instead. So one pass was 60%. It's not too bad, I guess. One thing to note is that this mod, this particular DLC is working with the GPS mod. It's funny, sometimes when you do like a DLC review, you miss certain aspects of it, and that is definitely one of them. Like, you know, little things like trying the GPS, like, because on the one hand you want to like be thorough, but don't want to make a super long video either. So it's kind of like one of those double-edged swords. Like, do you make it a long video and show every aspect, or do you make it a shorter video? I tend to make shorter videos because some people just aren't interested in everything. Well, that wasn't too bad. Alright, we'll just go straight up. It's a pretty powerful tractor, so I'm not too worried about it. There we go. Yeah, it's one of those weird things where it's like, you have to kind of make that choice. I don't know. But I do like the 20 meter spread in this. That's pretty nice. I don't even think I have a mod that does 20 meters. I think most of them do like 10 or 15 is pretty typical. Where is it? So I have the Crescendo, which I think that does 10, and this does less than that. So these are for smaller farms, obviously. I did have another one a while back that was another nice manure spreader that probably did 20 meters, but I can't remember. In reality, your best bet for a soil mod based farm is to get your BGA running, honestly, and then spread slurry, and then just compensate for the lack of, I think it's PK, with putting down PK with liquid fertilizer. There we go. So the nice thing about this thing, as I've said many times before, is how maneuverable this thing is. It's awesome. So there you go. That's how that setup works. So that's why it's really nice to have this kind of situation here. I would have rather had this bunker have a conveyor belt of its own in it, but I can accept this. I'm just going to turn off this truck because it's just chilling out here idling. Let's move it out of the way here. That was the truck. I was just going around looking at the areas. I'm like, what do I need to do? Because it's funny, whenever I try to record, I always kind of do like a little like, okay, what should I do? What do I need to do? I don't know. Call it a habit, I guess. Yeah, this should definitely be more than 19,000 liters, I think. This is my personal opinion. I guess you have you get like either a wide spread or a high capacity. You can't have both. That would be too ideal, right? Just a little bit too ideal. C'est la vie. Ah well. Alright, let's continue. One of the cool things that's happening in the Google Plus community, which you can join for free, it's in the description. There we go. And if you'd like to join, you can do so we do a short little vetting process to make sure that you actually post stuff and you're not spamming and whatnot. But you're more than welcome to join. Anyways, Craft Farms, he is coming out with a mod soon. A public mod, not a private one, a public one. At least he's told me that so far. So, that is really cool because it'll be someone from our community who has made a mod and has let us, is going to let us try it out, give it a go and whatnot. So I think that's super cool because, you think about, I think David Olfin did the same thing, for example. Like, he made his own OEB YouTube trailer, I think he called it. And it was pretty funny because I think he just did it as a way of like introducing people into Blender, I think, and showing people how to use Blender and whatnot. And I don't know if Craft Farms actually learned from that specifically, but I think it's pretty awesome that he has made his own mod. And he's going through the testing phases right now, which is pretty cool, actually. I wish I could make my own mods. Well, I say that, but I probably could. I just don't know if I have the patience for all the 3D design work and whatnot. That would be my problem. It looks like we're missing little bunches at the end here. It's funny, when I was on the multiplayer server the other day, I was trying to do this and just point with my pointer from Courseplay. If you don't have Courseplay, you don't have the pointer. Kind of made me a little sad when I realized that. I'm just going to fill up. Saves me making a half pass and going through. But it's one of those little tiny things. You get used to having that little pointer there, and then when you don't have it, you're like, what on earth? At least that's how I feel about it. Ah well. Hope you guys enjoyed the American Outback Farm the other day. That was a cool little map. I really like it. It could be a great map for multiplayer or even single player, but you'd have to be, I think for single player, you would have to be a little, I don't know how to say it. You probably have to, where does this go? I don't want to go that way. Or do I? No? Well, I kind of do, but not really. Anyways, so it would be a cool map for multiplayer and single player, but single player would be it'd be a bit of a challenge because of how big it actually is, so. Not impossible, just a bit of a challenge. I guess I could have gone that way, actually, now looking back on that. Alright. But I really like some of the aspects. It has a moonshine part to it, which I thought was really strange. Because moonshine's illegal? Yes. I think it's illegal to sell. And maybe it's not to make, I don't know actually. It depends where I think it depends on where you are in the world. Like I'm sure some places in the States it's legal. I don't know. Interestingly enough, in Ontario, what's happening is the Liberal government, the provincial Liberal government has allowed wine to be sold in grocery stores. They call them like, in Quebec they call them like soft soft alcohol sort of thing. So like anything under like 20%, I think they're going to allow people to be sold in supermarkets, which I think is kind of neat because it's not something that Quebec has had for a long time. Oh, that would have been much more convenient if I had done that. Note to self: do that next time. So in Quebec they have had like alcohol being sold at supermarkets for a long time. In Ontario, you can't. Well, you can now, but you never used to be able to. Like people from the United States right now are like, "What are you talking about? Like that's been around for a long time." Yes, in the United States it's been around for a long time, but not in parts in Canada. Yes, but not all of Canada. So in Quebec it's been around for a while, but in Ontario, it's only been like this past little while that it has been around in Ontario at least. I think they have the same thing in maybe Alberta. I'm not sure. But it kind of throws you off a little bit because you're like, in Quebec, like if you're working in Quebec, for example, you're there for the day, you can go to the convenience store and pick up beer, which is kind of funny. But if you want to do the same thing in Ontario, you can't. You have to go to like a beer store, LCBO and whatnot. I think in Quebec, they actually have a rule where you can only sell alcohol like up to a certain time of the day. So I think it's like 8 or 9 o'clock, and then they won't sell it anymore. I don't know if those same rules are going to be imposed upon people in Ontario as well. But to actually get qualified for it, it's been like, apparently the process has been pretty ridiculous. I haven't looked into it because I don't care about it, but I have read a few articles about it, and it's been pretty interesting to see like some of the stuff they've had to go through in order to get it approved and whatnot. All right, I wonder how far we're going to be able to get here. Probably not the whole way, but that's fine. It's interesting how the texture just stays there though. So, anyways, have you found any good maps lately? Any interesting mods? Let me know in the comments below. I haven't seen anything that really jumps out at me yet. I don't even know if I picked up any interesting mods. Let's check. Trucks. These are the same ones I've had for a while now. These trucks are actually pretty cool. The jake brake on them is kind of weird. Nope, nothing new there. Nope, that'll be all the same. That'll be all the same. I thought I picked up another new mod somewhere. I haven't gone looking for anything crazy lately, so that's probably part of it. These are all cultivators. No. Nope. I have a sneaky suspicion I have like one mod maybe that I added, but I don't remember which one it is. No new mowers. No, no, no. New balers. No. Ah, this one was one of them. This was it's a huge TMR mixer, 64,000 liters, which is crazy. So that's for like your huge farms. And I think that came from FS-UK. I want to say it did. Yeah, that's it basically. I thought I had some other interesting mods, but I don't, obviously. I don't think I put new placeables in. There actually was a new placeable pool that you could get, which I thought was kind of funny. It's like a pool that you have to like, I think you have to take sand to it or something, and it creates a pool over time. It's kind of cool. Mike was talking about that. Northern Fox Media. He was talking about that the other day there. So we're gonna get like really close to the, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So he was talking about that the other day, and I thought it was kind of interesting. It doesn't interest me personally, but I think it's kind of a cool mod nonetheless. Because of course, there's always like those mods that you just, you know, they're neat. For me, they're neat, but I'm like, eh. And there's also a Farmer BS did a little vignette the other day with what was it, the mail mod? So like, if you want to do some post office type stuff, you can do that. I don't know. It. I was like, hey, that's a cool mod. I'm like, I don't want to do anything with it. Like, I guess if you want to like tell a story or something like that, like, I don't know. I've kind of come to the conclusion that I'm not super great at telling stories. Jokes I'm even worse at. So if I want to try to tell a joke, it's just not good news. You can ask my wife someday. She'll tell you I'm terrible at telling jokes. What usually happens when I try to tell a joke is I tell like the very first part because that's what I can remember, and I tell like the punchline, and then I forget all the middle part, like the build up. 1 second, coffee break. So good. So good. Actually, I just had a random thought, and I don't know if it actually does it or not. I was looking for overloaders. Does that take? Oh, it does take manure. That's interesting. So you could set that up. At the side. And I wonder if that would work. This is pretty close, so it's not a huge problem. But if I were going to like a field that was further away, it would be a problem. So it's kind of like you can set it up at the side of the field, and then have like Courseplay just going to it and unloading into it. I don't know if Courseplay would be able to use it to unload into it, because I don't know how the trigger is set up that way on that particular overloader. It's a cool mod though, don't get me wrong. Like, I think that thing is neat. Super neat. Alright, so this is where we left off. This actually reacts surprisingly well to the GPS mod. Sometimes when you have like articulated vehicles like the Kurovitz K700A, doesn't like GPS very much at all. Like if you remember back on the newbie farm, it really didn't like it. Here we are. It really didn't like the that particular mod. Like, it was one of those scenarios where it's like you hit the GPS mod and the whole thing would like do like a whole like snaking act. It was pretty funny. But this will react really well, and I think it's because of the all-wheel steering. Oh, there's another manure pit down there. I didn't even notice that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's go check that out real quick, because I'm kind of curious now. It looks like there's a slurry lagoon down there too, which is cool. And here's the water. Go for a little bath or mucking around with manure. Here's another storage area for manure and slurry. Or is it? Not a very nice looking one, but I think it is. Yeah, it definitely is. It just doesn't look very nice in comparison to some of the other ones. Huh, that's kind of cool. So I guess this is a good way to give you manure for 6 and 7 down there, I guess. That'd be my guess. And this is a storage area? Is that what this is supposed to be? Oh, I guess it is. I've never even been down here before. Very cool. What's this? This isn't a cell. Yeah, no, that looks like it was a cell point. There's no trigger there, but I guess that has. I guess it's for forestry related stuff, because that looks like wood chips. Anyways. Ian, get back to work. Stop getting distracted. Alright, let's make this turn. I love how easy this thing is to turn on a dime. There we go. But I'm really impressed with this DLC. I really like it. Like, I've said this before, and it's kind of strange how I like this, but I didn't like the IT Runner pack, and I think because I don't like the hook lift trailers. But this one, I don't know. I don't know why. I just kind of happened to notice that a while back. I'm like, oh, I like this, but I didn't like the IT Runner. I don't understand. I did a little poll back in one of the previous videos, and a lot of people didn't buy it at all. The IT Runner pack, and they're in the same boat with me. With the IT Runner, like, but the Homer DLC has been received much better, so it's kind of strange how that works out. I don't understand. Are we gonna make it to the very end? Yes, we are. With a little bit less than 10%, I suspect. Nice. Alright, let's go fill up. So this is why it's nice to have a big supply of manure. I think, in reality, I think it's good to do it's a better way to go. I think you do slurry, or you do manure, then slurry, then manure, like alternate between the two. Because what's going to happen now is the numbers on that field are going to be super, super high for the nutrients. So in reality, it would have been better if I had put slurry down, but we don't have enough slurry. How much slurry do we have? Bunker liquid manure, 3,000 liters. Yeah, we're not creating enough slurry. Otherwise, that's what I would have done. I could have sprayed NPK, but that would have cost me money. And this hasn't cost me any money yet, so this is why this is the better choice. Although, so what happens is, like, let me bring up the soil mod reference sheet here. I even have it up for whatever reason. So, like, if you have too much, NPK, so let's go down here, scroll up a little bit, there we go. Now I can see the numbers. So this is what it says right here. If you have a nitrogen level of X10, you only get 75%. If you have a PK level of X7, you get 30%. So what's actually going to happen here, now that I'm thinking about this again, I probably shouldn't have spread manure a second time, because now my numbers are going to be way too high. Now, admittedly, the numbers will go down through the growth processes and whatnot. However, they are going to be too high, because now what's going to happen is I'm going to have, I think the nitrogen level is already too super high. Let's check. Let's check here. X8 and 4. So this is going to put it up to like 15 or something like that. So yeah, it's going to be too high. Live and learn, I guess. Did we do a full pass? I don't remember. I think we did, yeah. So there you go. That's what happens. So like, that's why I like the soil mod though, because like you can't just do it like la 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 la, not think about it, because you really do have to think about it, because like this is like, oh, I'm just going to fertilize the field with manure, and then now I'm looking back at it, I'm like, oh, actually it wasn't a good idea at all, because now my numbers are going to be too high, and I'm going to actually lose yield because the numbers are too high, strangely enough. So, and if I actually look at growth stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so depending on crop 1, 2, 3, so yeah, it's like you lose like 1 per stage sort of idea. So there's like 4 or 5 stages. So technically what you could do is I could let this sit for an extra day. It's like if I go over here and look at field 8, for example, it's at like growth stage 1, 2, 3, 4. First, it's seeded. I don't know, growing stage 1, I guess, basically. So like if I were to let it sit for an extra day when it's ready to be harvested, it would actually use up some of that extra nutrients, and then what would happen is I would be able to get a better yield because I'm using up more nutrients. I know that sounds odd to say it like that, but that's what would actually happen. Alright, I think what I'll do is I'll leave the edges, and I'll just finish up this side, because in reality it's not going to make a big difference. I'll finish up this load of manure that I have in here, and then I will leave it at that, because I don't really need to put... In reality, I didn't need to do this. So I'll just use the rest of this up and save the manure for next time, basically. Alright, perfect. So yeah, that's... I totally was just... totally oversight on my part. So yeah, we have X9, which is actually super high, and then we have X4. So as soon as I cultivate this is going to bring it up to like 15 or 16 or 20 even, actually, maybe. So too high is basically what's going to happen. So that's unfortunate. Anyways, I think that's a good time as any to stop the episode for now, folks. My name's Iain Robson. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Baldeykino, and I hope you like the longer episode than the 10 minutes. If you did, leave me a comment saying... What can we say? I don't know. I can't think of anything good to say. Homer DLC. Leave me a comment with Homer DLC if you stay to the end. Anyways, folks, my name's Iain Robson. Subscribe if you want some more Baldeykino. I'll catch you guys later.